Hi, this is Usha. Welcome to Rathod's IAS classes. Today in this lecture, we are going to see current affairs of 17th July 2022. So let's get started with our discussion and let us try to see today's quote. So today's quote is a motivational quote. I hope you can see it on the screen, right? So this quote is very much related to UPSC journey. As you all know, this UPSC journey, it is a very long journey. So in this long journey, each and every aspirant, they mainly comes across ups and as well as downs, okay, during their preparation. So they come across good days, they come across worst days, they come across bad days, and finally if you clear your UPSC, then that will be your best days, right? So good days, they give happiness. So if you are doing good on that day, and if you achieve your all targets, that is the daily targets, means you will be becoming very happy, you will feel very happy. And if you are writing mock test, so if you are gaining good marks, then you will be very much happy. And sometimes we can also see the bad days, okay? Sometimes you will be feeling very low and some demotivation. At that time you will come across these bad days. So from this bad days, that mainly gives experience for you. And sometimes you can see the worst days. So worst days, they give the lessons. For example, if you wrote any test series and you are getting very bad marks, so in that time you will learn the lesson. So what are the mistakes that you had made and how to come over those mistakes. So here worst days, they give lessons. And the next one is the best days. The best days gives the memories. So once you clear this UPSC, so whatever the hard work you did, so how many sleepless nights you went, so that will all become some memories for you. Okay, so good days give happiness, bad days give experience, worst days give lessons, and the best days give memories. So this is the quote of the day. And now let us try to see first topic. Actually the topics that I took from the Hindu app. So actually I found these articles are very much relevant and very much important from your UPSC point of view. Actually in the Hindu newspaper I didn't found nothing much important. So especially from the science and technology, there are 2 to 3 articles which are important. Other than there is nothing much important. And what are the topics that are present in FAQ page, I already discussed in our earlier lectures. So first topic, it is regarding monsoon session. Monsoon session in Parliament. So bill to give more teeth to Archaeological Survey of India listed for introduction. So actually in this monsoon session, there are about 23 or 24 bills that are made ready to be passed in our houses. So here you have to know the sessions of the Parliament. So how many sessions of the Parliament are there and what's the time period? So let me know in the comment box. So here as an UPSC aspirant, you need to know about the sessions, because in this sessions number of bills they will be introduced and some bills they will be coming to act. So you have to be aware regarding those bills and what is their importance. And even so if it becomes an act, that means whenever the bill which is mainly passed in the both the houses, that is Lok Sabha and as well as Rajya Sabha, and that bill which is mainly placed for assent of president, and if president who gave the assent for that bill, then that bill will becomes an act, right? So you have to know what is the importance of that act and you have to know what is the need of that act. So what are the provisions of that act, okay? So here this is the process of passing of the bill. So I want to give you one homework for you students. So please try to open your Lakshmikant. In Lakshmikant you have chapter called as Parliament. There you can see Lok Sabha, Rajya Sabha, and as well as process of passaging of bills and how many stages will be there. So you have to go through that. So if you have no time, so please you can visit this Lakshmikant playlist that I already recorded. Okay, so in that playlist you can get these videos of this polity. So here now we are going to focus on this Archaeological Survey of India. So what is this bill talks about? So this article is very important, and you can see what is archaeology, which mainly dependent. So if you are talking about anthropology, so in this anthropology also you will be having one important branch of anthropology, that is archaeological anthropology. So this archaeological anthropology which mainly deals with the fossils, right? So here in this image you can see fossil, okay, you can see skeleton and even some fossilized parts that you can see here. So we are mainly gathering these evidences and we will mainly study about these evidences. So if you're talking about this fossilized skeleton here, so if you get this type of skeletons and we can identify the age of this so and so person, okay, and if you're studying especially this face, okay, that is skull and as well as the teeth, so we can understand the food habits of that so and so skeleton. And even if we know in which layer of our earth we found this fossil, and if you are retrieving some evidences there, so we can understand what was the environment at that time. Okay, so in this way here archaeological anthropology is having a great scope of studying fossils and will be also helpful for mainly to come up or to trace our human evolution as well. Right, so this is the one idea regarding this topic, and in anthropology you can come across this Archaeological Survey of India as well. Okay, so this is about some introduction and especially for anthropology option students, so this will be very useful. And now let us try to see this topic in detail. So first let us try to see why it is in news. So as you all know, according to Lok Sabha Bulletin, the Ancient Monuments and Archaeological Sites and Remains Amendment Bill 2022, which has been listed by the government for introduction and passing. So for introduction and passing of this bill, so the name of the bill here is the Ancient Monuments and Archaeological Sites and Remains Amendment Bill 2022. So what are the details of this bill? So this bill which is going to provide more teeth, that means it is giving the more power to this Archaeological Survey of India, in short ASI, mainly regarding amend a law dealing with ancient monuments, and it is listed for introduction in the monsoon session. So this bill which is mainly focusing on to provide more power to this Archaeological Survey of India. And this bill which also aims at rationalizing the prohibition area and other amendments. So here you have to know what is this prohibited area and where we can see this prohibited area. So if you are talking about this bill, okay, so this bill which came in, this act which mainly came in the year 1958, and afterwards this bill which mainly came into existence in 1958, in 2010 we came up with amendments, and even in 2007 we came up with amendments to this act. So here in 2010 amendment which mainly says that, so if there is any monument of national importance, for example let us take this is a monument of national importance, so around this for 100 meters, so it mainly declared as a prohibited area. It mainly declared as a prohibited area, and around this for 200 meters, so it mainly comes under especially we can say it is a prohibited area and as well as it is a regulated area. So for 100 meters it is called as prohibited area, and for 300 meters, okay, from this monument it mainly comes under regulated area, and from this 100 meters from this protected area, so it is 200 meters. So don't confuse with this. So from monument it is 300 meters, that is regulated area, and from this protected area it is 200 meters. So this is the amendment that we came up in year 2010. So here this bill which is mainly focusing on rationalizing of this prohibited area. So now let us move forward and let us try to see some more important details. So this bill which is mainly focusing to change section 20 of this act. So this section 20 which mainly talks about this prohibited area, and it is mainly focusing on rationalizing of this prohibited and as well as regulated areas. So expert monument committee that would decide the prohibited area around the particular monument. So now this bill which mainly says that who is going to decide whether we can go for this 100-meter prohibited area and 300-meter regulated area now. So if there is any monument here, so around this we have this prohibited area and we have this regulated area. So now here according to this bill which mainly says that, so we need a expert monument committee, and this expert monument committee which is mainly going to decide whether we can go for this 100-meter prohibited area or not. So here under this Archaeological Survey of India would be given enforcement powers. Okay, so it mainly giving some enforcement power. So because of this, so this bill, it is mainly going to give more teeth for this Archaeological Survey of India. And this bill would also seek to review the list of protected sites under Archaeological Survey of India. And even it mainly talks about even one more bill, that is Kalakshetra Foundation Amendment Bill 2022. So this bill, that is Kalakshetra Foundation Amendment Bill 2022, which mainly focused to empower Kalakshetra Foundation. And in this Kalakshetra Foundation, so they mainly provide some certificates, diplomas, postgraduate diplomas, degrees to graduates, as well as postgraduates, doctoral and postdoctoral courses, and to conduct research in the areas especially regarding dance, regarding traditional theatres, drama, Carnatic and traditional music, visual arts, crafts education, and art education. So these will come under part of our art and culture as well. So in art and culture, we will study about different dance forms, like we can talk about classical dance form, we can talk about folk dances and traditional theatres and dramas, Carnatic music, and as well as Hindustani music and visual arts, crafts, right? So here this Kalakshetra Foundation Act of 1993, which is mainly focusing on giving certificates for the students in these areas of dance, traditional theatres, drama, Carnatic and traditional music, etc. And you have to remember this point. So this point, it might be a potential prelim statement. So if you're talking about background regarding this ancient monuments and archaeological sites and remains act of 1958, so actually this act which mainly focusing on preservation of ancient and as well as historical monuments. Yes, we need an act which mainly provides protection for our ancient and historical monuments, because India, it is very much rich in this ancient and as well as historical monuments. So we need to preserve for our next generation. So this episode, which mainly brings its legislative journey and its impact on safeguarding the cultural heritage. So through this act, we are mainly focusing on preserving of our cultural heritage. And this act which mainly provides for the preservation of ancient and historical monuments and even some archaeological sites and remains of national importance. Okay, it is mainly focuses on preservation of ancient and historical monuments and even archaeological sites and remains of national importance. Actually, this act which mainly passed in year 1958. Okay, so now if you see the 2010 amendment, so why we came up with this amendment? What is the need of this amendment? Amendment means nothing but we come up with some changes, right? So Ancient Monuments and Archaeological Sites and Remains Act, which mainly amended in year 2010. And here through this amendment, we came up with some strengthening of penal provisions, and we are mainly focusing on how to prevent encroachments and illegal construction close to these monuments. So why we need to go for this prevention of encroachments and as well as illegal construction? So for example, let us take this is a national importance monument which is present here. So because of increasing of population, yes, habitats had been increased. So whenever there is illegal encroachment around this national monument is happening, so because of that development process, it will be having some impact on this national monument. So mainly to prevent this, and especially we are mainly focusing on safety, security of this monument. So that we came up with this amendment in 2010. And this amendment which mainly talks about prohibited area. So it mainly says that if there is any monument of national importance, so around this for 100 meters, so there should be no encroachment, there should be no settlement should be come up. So it is mainly comes under this prohibited area. And around this for 200 meters, so we came up with this regulated area. And actually this decision of UPA government also upheld by Supreme Court. Supreme Court said that yes, this is a good decision because we need to protect our cultural heritage. And in 2017 amendment, here we came up with the one important change in this act, that is construction in this prohibited area. So this act which mainly defines prohibited area as an area 100 meters around the protected monument, and under this, here central government, it can extend the prohibited area beyond 100 meters. So if there is any need, yes, the government can extend this prohibited area beyond 100 meters. And act does not permit construction in such prohibited areas except under certain circumstances. But here one thing which is mainly clearly said that, so it also even prohibited the construction even for the public purposes as well. So this is about this topic in detail. And now let us move on to one more bill, that is Anti-trafficking Bill, to be introduced in monsoon session of Parliament. So in future you are going to get many articles regarding this topic. So if you listen this lecture and if you make a notes, then you will be way behind the other students as well. So here this article which is mainly talking about Anti-trafficking Bill. So this article will be important from your polity point of view, which mainly comes in the GS paper too. Actually across the country, number of activists, they are mainly doing some protest to pass this Anti-trafficking Bill in the Parliament. So now here the context which mainly says that, so according to this draft bill, person who found guilty of trafficking can be imprisoned for a term not less than 7 years, okay, and it may also extend to 10 years. So one important provision of this bill here is, so if any person who found guilty, okay, who found guilty for trafficking of persons, then the punishment to this person will be given, it is for 7 to 10 years of imprisonment. So if you are talking about details, so this bill which is mainly focusing on prevention and to combat trafficking. So trafficking of especially women and as well as children. Okay, so it is mainly going to be introduced in our Parliament in this monsoon session. So according to this Lok Sabha bulletin, so trafficking of persons, Protection, Care and Prevention or Rehabilitation Bill 2022 will be introduced in for the consideration passing in the Parliament. So here Lok Sabha bulletin also said that, so this bill, the Trafficking of Persons, Protection, Care and Rehabilitation Bill 2022, it will be introduced for consideration and as well as passing in the Parliament. So this bill which mainly seeks to prevent and combat trafficking of persons. So it is not only talking about women and children, even it also talking about transgender. So this is one important thing that you have to focus on, because we need to respect the rights. Okay, we need to create some supportive legal, economic and social environment for the victims as well. So we need to go for prosecution of offenders. So because of this, we need to come up with some stringent provisions. And according to this draft bill, persons who found guilty of trafficking, they can be imprisoned not less than 7 years and it may also extend to 10 years. So the convict shall be liable to even fine, okay, which is not less than 1 lakh rupees and it may also extend it to 5 lakh rupees and there will be severe punishment as well. So several anti-human trafficking activities and NGOs across the country, they are mainly pushing forward for the early passage of this bill in the Parliament. So if you're talking about highlights of this bill, so these are some highlights and you have to remember this. So first one here is, as I said, this bill which is mainly proposes some stringent, that is strict punishment for the offenders. Okay, it includes fine and even imprisonment and even seizing of their properties. And this bill also extends beyond the protection of women and children. So we are also including for the first time transgender as well. And this draft also does away with the provision that a victim necessary needs to be transported. It is not like only the victim should be transported from one place to another place. And next one here is, it is also talking about exploitation of the prostitution of others and other forms of sexual exploitation as well. For example, pornography, any act of physical exploitation and forced labor or services, slavery, okay, etc. And now let us try to see for whom this law will be applicable. So all citizens inside country and as well as outside India, so this law will be extended, and the persons on any ship or aircrafts registered in India, so wherever it may be, or carrying Indian citizens wherever they may be, so they will be also included. And next one here is a foreign national or any stateless person, okay, who has his or her residence in India at the time of commission of offence, they will also come under this act. And every offence of trafficking in persons with cross-border implications also come under this. And the defence personnel and government servants, doctors, paramedical staffs, for everyone, for anyone, it will be applicable. And if you're talking about some constitutional provisions which mainly talks about trafficking in human beings person, they are mainly prohibited under some articles. So if you are talking about Article 23 subclass 1, which mainly talks about prohibition of trafficking of human beings or persons, and even we have several acts, that is Immoral Traffic Prevention Act of 1956. Okay, it is one of the important law in India, which is mainly talking about prevention of trafficking or commercial sexual exploitation. And next one here is Criminal Law Amendment Act 2013. Actually, it mainly came into force when Section 370 of IPC has been substituted with Section 370 and 370A of IPC as well. So these are some important acts or laws in India which mainly focusing on prevention of trafficking. And now let us move on to next topic. So this will be one interesting topic. So title says regional local languages should be promoted in proceedings at lower and higher courts. So actually here this article which is mainly talking about usage of local and regional languages in the court. So please pause the video and let me know your opinion first of all before going into this topic, okay, so that you will be getting some idea. So whether your idea it is going to match with the thing which is given in the newspaper or not. So you can get a clarity whether you are in a right way or not. So please pause the video for 2 minutes and let me know whether we can go and use this regional and local languages in the courts. So please pause video. And now let's come back. Actually this topic is important from your polity point of view, which mainly comes in the GS paper too. So if you see why it is in news, our Union Law Minister, he mainly focused that, he mainly said that regional and local languages, they should be promoted in proceedings of lower and high courts. So if you are talking about hierarchy of courts in India, so we have top apex court, that is Supreme Court, and the state we have high courts, and at lower levels we have subordinate courts or district courts. So in this district courts we have civil courts, we have criminal courts. So here this article which mainly says that in this high courts and here at the lower courts level, so we can use this regional and as well as local languages. So now let us try to see some interesting things regarding this topic. And if you are talking about details, it mainly says that here the law minister said mother tongue should not be considered lesser than English. So mother tongue shall not be considered lesser than English, and asserted that he does not subscribe to the view that a lawyer should be given more respect, more cases and the fees only because he speaks more in English. It is not like that. Here lawyer, he mainly speaks in English, he should get the more respect. So he also said that no court should be only for privileged and the doors of justice should be open for all and equally. Yes, if we are using this regional language or the local language in the courts, yes, it will be helpful for the privileged and as well as other lower sections of society, okay, and it will be helpful for inclusive justice system or judiciary system, and we are treating the people equally, right? So arguments and judgments in Supreme Court which mainly happens in English, but here law minister says that our vision is that in high courts and lower courts, regional and the local languages that need to be given priority. So this is the thing which mainly said by Union Law Minister in inaugural session of 18th All India Legal Services Authority in Jaipur. So he mainly expressed some concern over rising the number of pending cases as well, and he mainly said that these pending of cases or pendency of cases that going to reach 5 crore, okay. So the pendency can be reduced with coordination between judiciary and as well as government. So the government and judiciary should have given good coordination to achieve objective of delivering the justice to the people, okay. So the government and judiciary, they should have good coordination. So if there is a proper coordination between the government and as well as judiciary, so this will helpful for the delay of case or pendency of cases. But how? So whenever there is a appointment of the judges without any delay, yes, what happened? Because of the vacancy of the judges also, that is our important cause for increasing of number of cases. And if you are talking about language used in courts, so now let us begin from our ancient period onwards. So now let us try to see how the courts used to function, which language they used to use. So the language used in the courts in India, which mainly seen a transition, they didn't use only single language, but over century there is some evolution that mainly happened. So first they used Urdu, and from Urdu they shifted to Persian, and from Persian they came up with this Farsi scripts during this Mughal period, and even they continued using those Farsi scripts in subordinate courts even during the Mughal period. So after once these Britishers, they came up with this codification system of law. So from that time onwards, we all started using this English as an official language. And even post independence, after we got independence, so we incorporate one article, Article 343 in our Indian Constitution. So it mainly talks about official language of Union. So which is our official language? That is Hindi in Devanagari script. So at that time we also mandated that English language can be continued or can be used as official purpose, can be used for all official purpose of the Union for 15 years. And later on it also further provides the President may during the said period be ordered to authorize the use of Hindi language for any official purpose of Union other than the English language. So this is about the history of language that we used in courts in India. So we are talking about some important articles which talks about the rights of litigants. So litigants, they have the fundamental rights. So here they have the fundamental rights to understand and to participate actively in this courtroom proceedings. So because of this language which is mainly acting as a barrier, so because of this Article 19 and Article 21 of the people, there is some violation. And the litigant, they has the right to speak in language he or she understand before magistrate. So because of this here, right to justice is also recognized as a part under this Article 21 of Indian Constitution. So this is about the language used in the courts in India. I hope this is somewhat interesting. So let me know in the comment box whether it is interesting or not, whether it is new for you or not. If it is new, type new in the comment box. And now let us try to say next topic. It is regarding Army opened fires as drones spotted near LOC in Jammu and Kashmir, Poonch region. So here, if you see this infographic on the screen, I think you can see some places. So here this is Jammu and Kashmir, and here we have this Rajouri, and here Baramulla, and here Sopore and Kargil here. So here we have this Poonch region. So in this Poonch region, so we came with the spotting of a drone. So this article is important from your international relations, which mainly comes in a GS paper too. And now let us try to understand why this is in news. So drone which mainly spotted flying across this LOC line of control in Jammu and Kashmir, Poonch district. So it was also forced to retreat after army personnel opened fire, and official sources said on July 16th. So what happened? A drone which is mainly spotted across this line of control, and this drone which was mainly attacked. Okay, so if you see the location, and you have to see the important places, Kargil here, Sapur, Barajmula, Poonch and Rajouri. So you can get a question like arrange them in north to south or south to north or east to west or west to east. So for that you should be well prepared. So if you are talking about some details, it mainly says that the drone was flying along this LOC line of control near Baloni in this Krishna Ghati sector, and the troops, they got alerted and they opened fire, and the flying object, it mainly returned back to Pak occupied Kashmir. And following the incidents, army and the police, they launched search operations in this area, whether there is any drop of weapons or any drop of drugs which mainly happened or not. So if you see this infographic, it is not the present infographic, which is the old infographic. So I kept here this in this PDF because you can get some idea regarding. So this drone attacks are not only happening now, but since 2019 onwards, we are mainly facing this drone attacks. Okay. So now let us try to see what are the reasons for increasing of this drone attacks. So first one here is they are cheap. So the primary reason for this proliferation is that drones are relatively cheap when we are comparing with other conventional weapons. And this one here is remotely controlled. So the one important, the biggest advantage of this drone here is, so they can be operated, okay, from a remote distance. This one here is they are easy to operate. So it is very easy to procure and easy to operate, and also proven that whenever there is any damage will be very less. Okay, so because of this advantages, so there is increasing of this drones attacks. So this is about this topic, and now let us try to see next topic. Title says, what are unparliamentary words unfit for the house? How are they compiled? So this article, which is mainly talking about unparliamentary words. So now let us try to see this topic. So this topic is important from your GS paper 2 under polity. So as you all know that we are going to have this monsoon session soon. So before beginning of this monsoon session, the Lok Sabha Secretariat released a booklet of more than 50 pages of words. So these words, they are considered as unfit from being used in the parliament. So many politicians, many activists, they have criticized the decision by terming them as a gag order. So this is mainly meant to shield the government against criticism. So if you are talking about some important details, actually this list, which mainly includes some words, which mainly includes some phrases, they are disallowed in our Indian Parliament and even in various state assemblies as well. So this list also includes the words that have been deleted from the records in the both Lok Sabha and as well as Rajya Sabha in some past years. So if you are talking about our Indian Constitution, Article 105 subclass 2, which mainly states that no member of Parliament shall be liable to any proceedings in any court in respect of anything which said by him in Parliament. Okay, so Article 105 subclass 2 says that so member of Parliament shall be liable to any proceedings in any court in respect to anything which may be said by him in the Parliament. It is not an absolute right to say whatever he wants. So whatever any parliamentarian who want to say, it is not a absolute right. Okay, so here as MP who mainly have some responsibility that he need to maintain some discipline of the house and he need to follow the rules of Parliament. And if you are talking about rules of Parliament, Rule 380 of Rules of Procedure and Conduct of Business in Lok Sabha, so it mainly states that if Speaker is of opinion that words have been used in the debate or defamatory or indecent or unparliamentary or undignified, okay, so at that time here Speaker, that is either Speaker or the Chairman of the House, they have the power to delete such words from the proceedings of the House. So if we are talking about those unparliamentary words, so there are many phrases and words both in English and even in the Indian languages, they are considered as unparliamentary. So here presiding officers of the House, that is Speaker of Lok Sabha and Chairman of Rajya Sabha, they are made authorized to keep unparliamentary words out of this Parliament's records. So there are some words which are mainly given, that is Jumla Jeevi, Bal Buddhi, COVID spreader, abused, ashamed, betrayal, Chamchagiri, cheated, okay, Snoop Gate, corrupt, corruption, coward, criminal, dictatorial, false, eyewash, fabrication, fraud, hack. So these are some words that are given here, and if you go to this PDF, you can go through all these words. Okay, and even some expressions like you have double standards, you have to be fair, I curse you, sir, why are you trying to gag my mouth? Don't try to gag my mouth. So these are also expressions which are mainly included in this list. So what is the way forward? Here in the Lok Sabha, so we have the presiding officer, that is Speaker. So Speaker has clarified that no words or phrases have been banned in the Parliament and the members have absolute freedom to express their views. So this decision to release the list was taken after the instruction of the Speaker or the Chairman, and the government has no role in it. So the list, it is just a set of general guidelines to maintain the dignity of Parliament. So we need to maintain the dignity of parliament here. So this regular exercise and such compilations, they have been brought out in 1986, 1992, 1999, 2004 and 2009. It is not new one. So some examples of the words include chamchagiri. So this chamchagiri, which is mainly banned in this Karnataka Legislative Council in 2021. Next one is greed, snoop gate, kick out, corrupt, coward. So these are some words, an explanation of this word which is mainly given here. So you can go through that once. And next article, it is about alcohol is unsafe. So in the PDF actually the articles are interchanged, so you can go through that once. So here, how much alcohol is unsafe based on age. So this article which is talking about alcohol limit. So this article we are mainly talking about recent Lancet report on impact of alcohol on the health of youngsters especially. So this article will be important from your GS paper 2 under health. So now let us try to see this topic in a very great detail. So according to study published in Lancet, young people, they face higher health risk from consumption of alcohol than older adults. Yes, we know that older adults, they will be consuming this alcohol, and nowadays even the 9th class students, 8th class students that I saw, they mainly habituated to take this alcohol during this COVID-19 times. So what happens to the children who mainly come up with the bad habits? They mainly came up with some bad habits like taking alcohol, consuming alcohol as well. So what happens to this study which mainly published by this Lancet, which mainly said that yes, people, they face higher health risk when you are comparing with the older and younger. So younger people, they will be having higher negative impacts on the health when they are going for this alcohol consumption. So this study, which is mainly based on analysis of global burden of disease. Okay, it is mainly based on analysis of the global burden of disease, and it is the first ever study to report alcohol risk by geographical region and age and as well as sex. So I want to ask you one question. So I don't know whether you are going to give answer in the comment box or not. So what is your opinion on consumption of alcohol, especially in the younger generation? So I think you already completed your graduation, and some people who are working professionals are there. So what is your opinion on this alcoholic consumption? So after once alcohol consumed, so what will be the impacts that you can see in the short term and as well as long term? So let me know your comments in the comment box. Don't forget about this. And if you see the details of this report, which mainly says that young men, they are at a greater risk of harmful alcoholic consumption. Risk of harmful, it is very much high when we are seeing in this youth compared to that of old age people. So especially the people who are between the age that is 15 to 39, they are at greater risk of harmful alcohol consumption. So people between the age of 15 to 39, they are at a greater risk of harmful alcohol consumption. So in every region, males in this group, in this age group, they comprise the largest segment of people who are drinking unsafe amounts of alcohol. Yes, once you become habituated to take this alcohol, yes, you will not stop by taking just 90 ml or 120 ml. So you will be increasing that capacity to one full bottle as well, right? So here young men, they are at a greater risk of harmful effects, okay? Greater risk of harmful effects of this alcohol consumption than compared to that of older people. So actually, if there is any older people or older grandparents in your home, so when they are going to hospital, they will say that yes, doctor advised me to take alcohol. So why the doctor will be advising them to take alcohol? Because they will be having some small impact. Okay, small impact that will be like some health benefits will be there for the older people who are suffering with other comorbidities like hypertension, like that. But there will be no use of consuming alcohol or taking alcohol, especially in this younger population. So here in this age group who are between this 15 to 39 years, so this analysis which mainly found that there will be no health benefits to drinking alcohol, okay, benefits, when they are not getting any benefits of drinking alcohol here. So instead they will be having 60% of alcohol related injuries. So for example, if there is any party or any get together, you attended that get together, in some pubs, right? So you consume alcohol. So after consuming alcohol, you will drive your bike or you will drive your car to your home. So at that time, sometimes you may also met with accidents. So motor vehicle accidents, suicides and homicides, so they are having some negative impact on the youth who are between 15 to 39 years of age. And this one is people who are above the age of 40 years. So adults over the age of 40 years, so they will be having some health risk from this alcohol consumption. So alcohol consumption health risk, they will be vary from age to age and as well as region to region. So whenever we are consuming small amount of alcohol, who are mainly attain the age which is more than 40 years, so they will be having a small health benefits that will helpful to reduce the cardiovascular risk, cardiovascular stroke and as well as diabetes mellitus. So if you see the data which is regarding India specifically, so in India 1.85% of females and 25.7% of males who are between this 15 to 39 years of age, they consume unsafe amounts of alcohol in 2020. And this is lower than 1.79% of females and 23% of males who are between the age of 40 to 64 years who consume unsafe amounts of alcohol. So if you are comparing with the old age people and youth, so youth are consuming large amounts of unsafe alcohol when we are comparing with the people who are between the age of 40 to 64 years. So what are the suggestions? So researchers mainly suggested that global alcohol consumption recommendations should be based on age and should be based on the location, and we need to come up with some strict guidelines, okay, and these guidelines ought to be targeted between the age group that is 15 to 39 years of age group of people. Okay, so this is about this topic in detail. And now let us try to see last article of day, that is Assam Arunachal Pradesh, they signed pact aiming to solve border dispute. So this article which is talking about Assam Arunachal Pradesh border dispute, and they came up with signing of one pact. So this article will be important from your internal security, which mainly comes under your GS paper 3. So if you see context, it mainly says that a boundary line delineated in 1960 by a committee which mainly formed a basis for this Assam and Arunachal Pradesh interstate boundary. And here, because of that, there has been a long-term dispute because this Assam and Arunachal Pradesh boundary, and now they are mainly coming up with some attempts to solve their long-lasting border disputes. So Assam Chief Minister and Arunachal Pradesh Chief Minister, they held their third meeting on disputes, and finally they came up with this Namsai Declaration. So here if you see, this is Arunachal Pradesh and this is Assam. So they are having some issue regarding this boundary of this Assam and Arunachal Pradesh. So if you are talking about this Namsai Declaration, so this boundary line between Assam and Arunachal Pradesh, which mainly delineated by high-powered three-party committee, okay, and actually they mainly came up with this three-party committee recommendations, and there are about 12 regional committees they will be going to set up, and they will make their recommendations, okay, regarding the respective governments. They mainly keep in view like historical perspective, administration convenience, contiguity and as well as people's will, and they will come with recommendations, and those recommendations will be given to the government, and the final decisions will be taken based on this regional committee's decisions or recommendations. And if you are talking about distribution of villages, 28 villages which are within the constitutional boundary of Arunachal Pradesh, they will remain with it, okay, and 3 villages which mainly claims they were withdrawn by the Arunachal Pradesh, that will remain with Assam. And next one here is final tranche before August 15th. So they also agreed upon that the regional committees, they will submit their reports, final reports on the areas before this August 15th. So now it is time to talk about what is this Namsai Declaration. So this declaration which is mainly signed between Assam and Arunachal Pradesh on July 15th, and it is mainly focusing to minimize the border dispute between these two states. And this one here is, according to this declaration, the border issues between Assam and Arunachal Pradesh, they will be confined to those raised, before local commission in 2007. So if you are talking about question, okay, which is the main question which appeared in this 2015 UPSC. So the concept of cooperative federalism has been increasingly emphasized in the recent years. So concept of cooperative federalism you can write in the introduction, and here you can write about the drawbacks. Highlight the drawbacks in existing structure and extent to which the cooperative federalism would answer the shortcomings. So this question is very important, and this question is mainly talking about cooperative federalism. So this is one of the important concepts that you will come across in your polity. And now let us try to see one map based question regarding this topic. So which of the following is the correct arrangement of northeast states from north to south? It is asking to arrange them in north to south fashion. So first option here is Arunachal Pradesh. As you all know, at the top we will be having Arunachal Pradesh. So below this Arunachal Pradesh we have Assam. Okay, so these are two options which mainly says that Arunachal Pradesh, Assam, they are present. So below this Assam we have Nagaland but not Mizoram. Okay, so Nagaland, Meghalaya and Mizoram. So option A is correct answer. So you can see this map, and most of the UPSC aspirants, they will be confused regarding this northeastern states map. Okay, so don't worry about that. Here we have Arunachal Pradesh, below that Assam, and Assam below we have here Meghalaya. So Meghalaya, it is present here, and below this Arunachal Pradesh, Assam, here we have Nagaland, NMMT. Okay, you can remember NMMT here. So N for Nagaland, M for Manipur. Okay, below this N we have Manipur, Mizoram and Tripura. So in this way you can remember these states. And now let us try to see yesterday's questions. So consider the following statements regarding Swaraj Party. So first statement here is C.R. Das and Motilal Nehru, they were the leaders of Swaraj Party. Yes. And second statement here is Swarajists wanted the constructive program to be coupled with a political program of council entry. Yes. Next one is a special Congress sessions in 1923 held at Delhi allowed Swarajists to contest elections. Yes. So these three statements are correct. So correct option is D. And this one is regarding round table conference. So Gandhiji represented Congress in the first and second round table, but he didn't attend the first round table conference. So only he attended the second round table conference. So this statement is incorrect. And princely states, they were represented by their own representatives. Yes. So men of other parties and communities and service, they were nominated by the government, okay, to represent India. Yes. So these two statements are correct, that is 2 and 3. Correct answer here is option 1. And next, now let us try to see today's practice question. The first one, it is regarding Council Acts of 1861, and next one it is regarding Coca Revolt. So these are the two questions for the practice, and try to read the statements and give me the correct option in the comment box. And for the whatever the questions I asked, so I am expecting the answers for those questions I asked in this lecture in the comment box. So try to give the answers for those questions in the comment box. And now let us try to see a small announcement. We in Rathod Science, we came up with this foundational course for your UPSC CSE 2023 and 2024. So here we are providing the more than 600 hours of video classes, and the validity will be 2 years. We are focusing on conceptual clarity and each and every concept which is dealt in these videos. And we are also focusing on previous year's prelims and as well as mains questions such that you can get a clarity. Okay, so here the cost of this course, it is just 49,000 rupees, and this is the offer that you can avail now, and you can't ask the same offer after 15 days. So please try to enroll this course. So this will be very advantageous for the students. You can clear even prelims and mains as well. Okay, so if you want to watch the demo videos, you can visit our website rathodscienceacademy.com. There you have to register with your email ID, and you can see the 3 demo videos without paying a single penny. So after watching those only, you can go for the payment for these courses. Okay, and if you want to take individual courses like I want only geography, history, economy, like that, you can take the individual courses also. That option is also available. So if you have any queries, so please call me on this number 8074765513. Okay, and if you want to get the PDF of this class, you can join the Telegram channel. Link is given in description box. And now let us try to see today's Hindu newspaper PDF. So this is our today's Hindu, date is July 17th, and this is Delhi edition. So first topic, it is about Modi cautious against culture of freebies. So I will be zooming this article so that you will be having a good view. So I hope you can see now, it is very much clear. So Modi cautions against culture of freebies. So freebies nothing but before elections here political parties they will be announcing that we are going to give that, we are going to give free laptops, we are going to give the free cylinders like that. So here our Prime Minister he mainly cautioned against the culture of distributing freebies for the votes. So whenever there is distribution of the freebies will be happening, there will be no asset creation. So that will be like a waste expenditure. So let me know what is the meaning of this ravery culture, okay, ravery culture in India. So now let us try to see some more important articles. So if you move forward here in the city page, it mainly says that free education, healthcare, not freebies. So here Chief Minister of Delhi, he mainly says that whenever government coming up with schemes, especially focusing on free education, healthcare and electricity, they are not freebies, but they mainly lay foundation for making India the #1 country in the world. Okay, so this is about this topic. And if you move forward, there is nothing much important in the states page, and you can directly move on to this news page. There is in the page number 7 also there is nothing much important, and page number 8 you can see Bhutan China talks won't focus on Doklam. So please try to open the map of this Doklam and see where this Doklam is present. Actually in 2017 there was standoff between India and China which happened at this Doklam. Okay, so actually Bhutan, it is a very small country which have a very little population of 7 lakh people. So actually the first pandemic which mainly began in this March 2020, it mainly guided by His Majesty the King, right? So they mainly focused on some important measures such that led to the preventing of deaths which are mainly occurring due to this COVID-19 pandemic. And actually here the country, it is now entirely vaccinated, and very soon children below this 5 years of age they are also having some will to go for vaccination as well. So here you have to see what is this Doklam. Okay, so this is very important. And if you move forward here you can see the 2 articles are there. So be especially chary of green pit vipers, and let me zoom this article. So here this article, it is mainly says that the green pit viper may not be more lethal than compared to that of other vipers like Russell's viper, saw-scaled viper and spectacle cobra or common crate. But whatever the poison which is injected by this snake bite, that is here green pit viper, so it is mainly not mainly cured by the antivenom. Okay, so this is the one cause of concern. Actually for this big 4 snakes like Russell viper, saw-scaled viper, spectacle cobra and common crate, we have antivenom, that is a big 4 antivenom. But this big 4 antivenom which is not effective much for this green pit viper. And whatever the venom, that is venom is nothing but poison which is given by this green pit viper, that is a hemotoxic venom. So hemotoxic means once this poison which is enter into our body, so it will not let our blood to clot. So because of this, that will leads to internal bleeding, and because of this internal bleeding, that will leads to the death of that so and so person. Okay, so and if you're talking about toxins, we will be having hematotoxins, we will be having neurotoxin, we will be having cytotoxins. So in this hematotoxins means they will not allow the blood to get clot, and this neurotoxin which mainly acts on our nervous system, and this neurotoxin which mainly acts on this our nervous system. And if you're talking about cytotoxins, that mainly kills the cells of the body. So these 3 are the types of the venoms that mainly seen in the snakes. And next article, it is about over 1 crore children send postcards to PM. So this article which is mainly talking about zero poverty. So actually this zero poverty is one of the sustainable development goal as well. So children across the country, they mainly put eradication of poverty and corruption as some of the goals of our India at 100. So some of the India's goals are here is we need to put poverty at the 0 level and even to bring down or to prevent corruption. So this initiative which is mainly launched on December 1st, 2021 and continued till December 31st. Actually the goal here is 75 lakh postcards from the students to Prime Minister, and those are the students who belong to the class 4 to class 12, they were asked to write about their favorite freedom fighters and some heroes from their region. Okay, and they wanted India to be into how they want India to be in 2047, which mainly completes hundreds years of independence. Okay, and here there are about totally 1.07 crore postcards have been received in the campaign, which mainly conducted by departments of Post and Education Ministry. And the students, they mainly wrote about employment, so they want to get more employment and focus on environment change, education, equality, healthcare, welfare, science, technology, women empowerment, hygiene, sanitation, rights and defense. So those are some important things which are mainly focused or which are mainly stressed by the students. So in this way you can also get some points to write your essay as well. Okay, so this is about this topic, and now let us move forward. So in this world page you can see two articles, that is Russia steps up missile attacks across Ukraine, and this one here is Israel, which mainly hits Gaza military site. And if you move forward in the science and technology, there are a number of articles that you can go through. So here you can see the deadly quake. Actually recently you know that here Afghanistan, which mainly affected with a deadly earthquake. So researchers, they are now struggling to investigate a deadly earthquake and its aftershocks in remote areas of Afghanistan. Actually the magnitude of earthquake here is 5.9 earthquake, and mainly very much closer to this Pakistan border as well. So they mainly came up with some few seismic monitoring stations, security concerns, etc. And now let us try to see one more article. So this article is mainly focusing on wastewater surveillance for COVID-19 reveals dynamic of infection. So it is talking about wastewater surveillance. So actually here we are mainly taking some precautions and preventive measures, especially in this COVID-19 pandemic driven situations. So actually here civic bodies, okay, they mainly focused on especially targeted vaccination drives, and they focused on lockdowns, etc. So actually this study, which is mainly focused on wastewater based surveillance, and they collected some water from this drainages, and they came with the study, and they study especially Hyderabad and as well as Bangalore. So in this study they mainly highlighted that especially in 2020 to 2021 August, they obtained the data of population size, that is about 2.5 lakhs, and they study about how to develop a protocol and as well as standard operating procedure for doing this. And finally they came up with this, and they collected this drainage water from open drainage system, and at that in that samples they found that viral load which is very much different when we are comparing with the different times of the day. Okay, and in the morning 8 a.m. so we can see a lot of viral load that is mainly seen here. So this is about this topic. Okay, and if you move forward you can see some more articles, like here you can see Martian meteorite. So this article is also very important. So we are talking about this Martian meteorite. How does studying a Martian meteorite, okay, how does studying a Martian meteorite will helpful to understand its earth origins? So as you all know that more than 4.5 billion years ago, so it's possible that Mars, it is a red planet. So why it is called as a red planet? Because of presence of a lot of amount of this ferrous oxide, so it mainly appears red color, so it is called as a red planet. So the crust of this Mars, which is mainly comparable to the Iceland today. But this discovery, which mainly hidden in the oldest Martian fragments they found on the earth. So actually they found one meteorite which is mainly of 4.48 billion years old, and the name which is mainly given here is Black Beauty. So it mainly regarded as a first stage of evolution of Mars. So when we understand this evolution of Mars, so we can also apply it for other terrestrial planets including Earth as well. Okay, so we are mainly going to study this Martian meteorite. So this study, okay, this study which mainly talks about if you are talking about Earth's surface, so the surface of the Earth, which is mainly we lost because of this plate tectonics. So because of this, when we are observing this type of meteorites, then we can go for the study regarding so evolution of these planets. So the meteorite, the chemistry of which indicates that Mars had volcanic activity which is very much similar that mainly found on the Earth. So how we are finding this volcanic activity on the Earth? So in the same way, we also see this type of volcanic activities that are much similar on the Mars as well. So this is a study which mainly published in the Nature Communications. So although the surface of the Mars, which is mainly like 5 to 10 million years ago, after an asteroid impact, it is one of the source region which mainly remain as a mystery. Okay, so this is about this topic, and in this FAQ page you can see some articles, but already those articles I discussed in our earlier lectures. So now let us try to see those articles once. The first one is regarding bail reform. So in this bail reform, here recently Supreme Court said that we need to come up with a separate law for the bail in the lines of UK's bails law. Okay, so here this is a very important thing, and here you can see what are the laws which are present in India regarding the bail. So that is CRPC and section 437. So you have to go through this once. And this article, it is about population growth taking place. So we discussed number of times regarding this United Nations population prospects report, and also I discussed about this rupee depreciation. So these are some important articles that appear in our today's Hindu newspaper. I hope you enjoyed this lecture. So if you really like this lecture, so please let me know your suggestions in the comment box. So if you're giving the suggestions, then we will try to improve ourselves day by day. And one more thing here is, so please try to share these videos in the Telegram groups and as well as WhatsApp groups, such that it will be reaching the large number of people. Okay, so this is the one favor I need from you people. And one more thing is, try to subscribe to this Rathod's Eyes if you are new to this platform, and try to like, share and comment my videos. Thank you so much.